Hello students, today we'll see the next chapter, that is analysis of drugs and narcotic substances. In that we have seen about seven different kinds of drugs or narcotic substances. What are, uh, what are their physical actions? What are the presumptive tests? What are the qualitative and quantitative tests for these kind of drugs? See, in the previous lecture, we have discussed about the various kinds of tests, such as microcrystal test and chemical test, which are useful for the identification of such kind of controlled substances. We have discussed in the previous chapter and lecture. Now, we will today we will see the introduction to the amphetamine, then qualitative identification, then sampling and physical description, and presumptive testing. So let us see one by one. So there are a large number of amphetamines which are controlled substances. From these, most commonly encountered in the forensic laboratories are amphetamine. This is first. Then we have methylamphetamine. Then we have 3,4 methylene dioxyamphetamine. Then next one is the 3,4 methylene dioxy methylamphetamine, and last one it is the 3,4 methylene dioxy amphetamine. So these are the various derivatives which are most commonly seen in the forensic laboratory. So, in addition, there are a wide variety of structurally related analogs which can be synthesized. So the usage pattern of the drug is regional and the subject to the temporal variation. So there are some kind of regional variation in the structure of the drug. So a number of drugs, particularly those related to the amphetamines, are stimulants, while 3,4 methylene dioxide derivatives also induces a feeling of well-being and in addition act as entactogens. The drugs are most commonly ingested orally but can also be smoked or injected. The drugs themselves can be totally synthetic, and indeed, a precursor chemicals such as the benzyl methyl ketone are subject to the separate controls and monitoring. Alternatively, there may be a semi-synthetic where natural products have been used as a starting material for the synthesis of such kind of amphetamines. So there are a number of synthetic routes described in the literature, in addition to the plethora of internet sites where recipes, or we can say the procedures, or we can say the preparation are described. So the drugs themselves are mixed with a wide variety of adulterants and diluents and also contain a cocktail of related products and the impurities from the manufacturing process. Generally, what happens, the drugs themselves are mixed with variety of adulterants, diluents, and also contain some mixture of the related products and impurities. So these products can be used for the comparison, but the effect of these on the drug user are not fully understood and may be extremely harmful. So let us see the next one is the qualitative identification of amphetamine. So a wide variety of types of the samples may be expected by the forensic scientists. So these include powdered drug material, tableted material, and items likely to have traces of the drug samples. So from these items, the appropriate samples should be taken, described, and subsequently forwarded for the analysis. So there are various types of the sample to be analyzed for the qualitative way. So the first one is the powdered sample, tableted sample, and last one is the trace sample. So by using these kind of things, we can analyze the given amphetamine by qualitative way. What is the nature of that? What is the tableted form of that particular amphetamine? Depending upon that, we can qualitatively analyze that amphetamine. So first one is the powdered sample. If the samples are powdered materials, they should be sorted into groups where the members of the groups cannot be distinguished from each other. Having achieved this, the items in each group should be counted and the good physical description should be prepared. So we have to make it into divide into various kinds of groups. Each group is obviously different from each other, and then we have to counted the good physical description groups. Okay, and this should include weight, color, order, and any other physical characteristic that scientists consider to be important. Depending upon the number of items in the group, the following sampling strategy based on the United Nations Drug Control Program, that is the UNDCP, recommendations may be adopted for the. So if there are between 1 to 10 items, all of them should be examined. If there are between 10 to 100 items, then 10 items should be examined. While if there are more than 100 items, the square root of the number of items should be examined. So these should be chosen at a random from among the items. For example, assigning each of them a number and then choosing the items to be examined from the random number table. So we have to, how we have to analyze that? We have to place the particular sampling, or we can say the sample into the place, and randomly we can take any kind of sample, any number of sample, and we can examine that in the random number. Okay, so in this way we have to perform random sampling for the same and analyze the sample. The next one is the tabulated sample. So if the items are tabulated, then different approach are required. So the items should be divided into visually indistinguishable groups, and the number of items in each group should be counted. If necessary, estimating the number from the mean weight of the tablet and the total mass of the tablet. If very large number of the samples they are involved in the analysis. A good physical description of tablet should be made, including recording of the size, what is the color, what is the shape, what is the logo on that tablet, and score marks if present. While the ballistic, that is the physical characteristics such as we can say the resolving. Okay, so of the tablet should be examined and detailedly provided the information. So photography is particularly helpful in this respect. So this latter includes recording of all physical damage to the tablet which may be present. Next one is the trace samples of amphetamine. So if samples are trace samples, that is the drug present is likely to be easily contaminated, the approach should be that the operators, laboratory equipments and reagents should be used. Uh, Reagent to be used should be demonstratively free of drug residues prior to the commencement of the analysis. So, if any kind of sample is there which contains some amount of amphetamine, that is a trace amount, so we should have to consider that while analyzing this kind of sample, the particular reagents, particular equipment should not contains any kind of drug residue whenever we have performing the analysis of such kind of substances. So this can be achieved by washing the glassware, work surfaces and operator's hands with a small amount of methanol and concentrating the dissolved material. The same batch of solvent should be used for the procedure and for the analysis of drug items with themselves. So the control extract should be analyzed in the same run sequence as the materials from the case samples. So it is not usually possible to carry out the control analysis prior to the commencing further work because time and the cost constraint. So you have to control the analysis at the same run sequence as the materials from the case sample which have been obtained. If the controls are drug free, then any drug observed in the case work sample can only have come from the later material themselves. The next part is the sample homogenization. So the homogenization of the powder sample can be achieved by using the number of different methodologies. One of the best method for the samples likely to be encountered on the street is the use of cone and square method. So this material is poured onto the flat. So cone and square method, it is nothing but the uh, cunnings and quarterings of the particular sampling. We have already discussed in the sampling that we have to spread that material on the flat surface flat and clean surface divided into 4 quarters. Okay, we have to remove the opposite quarters, and then the remaining quarters we have to recombine. Again, we have to repeat the procedure till we have to get the optimum amount of sample which have been required. Okay, so the process is repeated until the desired sample size is to be achieved. For the larger sample, a core may be taken and subjected to the further homogenization by using cone and square methodology. So we have to take that core, okay, core from the particular can say the square, and then again we have to minimize the sample quantity by such method. So for the tableted materials, homogenization is more problematic since if tablet was homogenized, it would also be destroyed during the homogenization. That's why it is very difficult for the tableted sample to homogenize it. So powder is then roughly homogenized prior to the testing. Having then next one is the presumptive testing of the amphetamine. Presumptive testing means what? We have to perform some kind of preliminary test. We can say there's some test, chemical test by which we can identify that whether there is a presence of amphetamines or not. So having described the materials and sampled them, it is then necessary to determine which of the amphetamines might be present. So for that, presumptive tests are available. So the most commonly used is the Merkis test. We have already discussed in the previous lecture what is a Merkis test. So in this approach, a small amount of Merkis reagent is added to the case sample, that is the sample to be analyzed. While in addition, positive and negative controls are also performed. So the Merkis test yields yellow to orange color reaction with the amphetamine and methamphetamine depending upon the concentration of the drug in the sample. So the more the drug is present, then more intense will be the color, and orange color, more intense will be the orange color. So for the other kind of derivatives such as the 3,4-methyl dioxy compounds, the purple blue color is obtained, which should not be confused with the almost indigo color that is obtained when opiates are tested with the Merkis reagent. So these are the two different tests should be performed for the analysis, or presumptive test to be performed for the analysis of the amphetamine, various kinds of amphetamines in the given sample. So this is all about the lecture. In the next lecture, we have seen about the qualitative and quantitative analysis of amphetamines and other aspects of the analysis of the amphetamine. Thank you.